So, as the Minister said, the framework of the strategic partnership with Microsoft is largely based on three key components. The first is government licensing. The second is a whole range of educational programs and initiatives, with the third being the establishment of the Microsoft Innovation Center. I shall go briefly through each of the three components to explain what each component is made up of. As most of you would be aware, government operates a wide range, a wide network of equipment and technologies. Essentially, we have around 15,000 PCs spread across all government, serving over 25,000 users on a daily basis, with around 600 servers and counting, half of which today run on open source technologies. Over the last years, we were actively analyzing whether to migrate from the platform which government is still operating upon today, which is Windows XP, to Windows Vista. We have marked our time on that, and although we had the licensing option available, we stuck to XP up to this current date, more for the basically in the light of the advent of Windows 7 and of the related technologies which were anticipated to be brought into the market with this key technological development. In that regard, earlier this year, Meta took the decision on the basis of a number of internal considerations and also external technical advice that we should be migrating to Windows 7 for a variety of technical reasons. I shall not go into that detail over here. But primarily we were driven by the need to enhance the productivity levels of our infrastructure, maintain and sustain the security and the stability of the operation, but also to provide an improved user experience, an improved stack of facilities for government users, obviously within the context of the very aggressive deployment of both back-end, but even more so front-end citizen-facing technologies which government was engaging upon. In this regard, over the last years, due to the approach which we have adopted, government has in fact saved around 3.7 million in licensing costs, and going forward we have also managed to reduce our operating costs by circa 12%, such that on the basis that we can maximize our prior investments in this regards. In essence, what we are agreeing with Microsoft is to cover the whole enterprise. When we say enterprise, it's not just Meta, it is actually all of government, with an enterprise agreement which covers both the desktop PCs and laptops, obviously, and also the back office environment of government in its data centers. So in essence, we are covering all government end to end, from the front end to the back end of government. The second pillar of the strategic partnership is obviously the one which has most value and effectiveness, which is the educational programs and initiatives. This is structured on the basis of four components, which you are seeing represented on this slide. And essentially these four components together are intended to, apart from providing the accessibility to the latest Microsoft technologies to all students, also to reduce expenditure, to reduce the operational expenditure in this regard, and to provide specialist software for ICT students, or those students which intend to basically pursue an ICT career. The first component on the educational stream is the schools agreement, which in essence is an agreement which covers around 28,000 users, students and teachers and school administrators across all the state primary and secondary schools, and which in essence provides one could say the whole suite, the whole Microsoft suite, the latest Microsoft suite, for access to all students and teachers. This also allows us to, in view of the functionalities and the facilities of the Windows 7 stack, to introduce in parallel with other key technologies which we are deploying in the educational sector, such as the interactive whiteboards and the e-learning platform, to actually provide students and teachers with the latest stack of technologies available all at one go, essentially from the next scholastic year. The second initiative under this strategic partnership from an educational perspective is the student offer. The student offer, most of you would be familiar with previous student offers which we had agreed to with Microsoft, and this offer is not only open for state school students and teachers, but is also open for students and teachers in church and private schools, colleges, and or university. Basically, the offer is the packaging of Windows 7, the professional upgrade, together with Office Professional 2010. That means this is not simply the any cut down or any stripped academic version. These are the two full versions of the packages, which through this agreement, as part of the strategic partnership agreement, will be offered to students on a one-time basis from 500 from their market price of circa 580 euros to slightly less than 80 euros, basically meaning a circa 500 euros per student. Based on the previous experiences we had, circa 40% of all the student population, generally speaking, would take up such an initiative, with a target initiative of basically approximately 20,000 students and teachers, which brings the total value of this offer, which will be directly benefited to the students and teachers themselves, to circa 10 million euros. The registration for this offer will be done online between August and September. It will be officially announced, and it will be also on the Meta website. Again, the eligibility for this is open to all students and teachers in state, church, private schools, colleges, and also university. The third initiative on the educational platform is what is called the Life Edu, which is a cloud-based solution which Microsoft operates on an international, on a global scale, where it provides personal mail and collaboration facilities for students. There are a number of facilities which the students benefit from. It will be a direct experience in how cloud-based operations work. It's a completely, it's an entire solution which is now being deployed across hundreds of schools internationally. With an average cost of 24 euros per student per year, this will be available freely again to all students and teachers, and we estimate that circa 40,000 students will be taking up this offer at a value of circa 4.8 million euros. Finally, I would say one of the most exciting and innovative initiatives, particularly for those students which are aiming to pursue a career in the ICT industry, is the Dream Spark initiative, which is an offer specifically designed for ICT post-secondary and tertiary students. So we're talking about MCAS, university students, and students undergoing ICT specific training with private training providers, which provides them with the full range of leading edge and professional Microsoft development software. Again, this is what the prospective employees would essentially find in the industry itself, completely for a one-time basis for free. This software is estimated to cost circa 1,500 euros for every single student. So the market price which a student would have to pay is circa 1,500 euros, and the students will be able under the scheme, under registration with the scheme, to download and use throughout their educational career, their educational programs for the full term. This software for the full period. We're aiming that over the 5 years, between the present students and the prospective students targeted to gain access to these to the ICT programs, circa 6,000 students will be taking up this offer at a value of circa 9 million euros, which will be again directly benefited to the students themselves. Again, this initiative will be available under the registration scheme, which will be completely carried out online. The third initiative, which the Minister made reference to, is obviously the Microsoft Innovation Center. I think this is the flagship of the whole strategic partnership. It is a very important milestone in terms of both the innovation aspect in ICT in Malta, but even more so in terms of the industry development for ICT itself. As Adriano will explain, Microsoft has this initiative of opening specifically dedicated innovation centers around the world. Up to date, they opened around 100 of these. And following a long discussion and negotiation, we arrived to a decision for Microsoft to set up their first innovation center specifically dedicated to cloud computing. As most of you in the industry would know, cloud computing is one of the key developments, the major trends in the industry as we speak. And obviously this investment, the setting up of this innovation center, goes way beyond the value of the investment itself, because effectively it is a flag bearer for Malta in such a very exciting area. The objectives of the innovation center particularly will focus around not simply serving Microsoft itself, but actually as providing to effectively provide a platform for the local industry to develop and to test and to drive cloud-based solutions on an international scale. The center will not be, again, dedicated exclusively to Microsoft. It will be open to the industry. It will be open to students wanting to specialize in these areas, and will provide a whole range of facilities, starting from the basic skills and educational formation programs like dedicated training specifically on cloud computing, leading up to leads to networks for co-investment, for funding, and for specific knowledge transfer in the industry. Obviously, MITA will be a participating player. We are very actively researching internally how government could be making better use of both the public but also internally private cloud environments, and we believe that also under the umbrella of the Innovation Center we shall be in a position to participate actively in this environment by rolling out possibly the first major private cloud in Malta. I would like to close by thanking Microsoft and specifically particularly Adriana, but also thanking our team, the CEO Matthew Gutt and our CTO Godwin Caruana, who obviously were the primary drivers in leading MITA and government to arrive to this.